Welcome back to Changing of the Times. I'm your host, Josh Daeche, and I'm joined by my colleague, David Ulak. David, it's a beautiful Sunday in the Northeast. The sky is clear and the temperature could reach in the mid-70s today. Unfortunately, over the past few days, America's number one disease, racism, has reared its ugly head again, and COVID-19 has taken a backseat, stemming from a senseless murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis, Minnesota. David, since Wednesday, there have been more than 1,700 arrests for protesting and rioting. David, you and I met through basketball. It's the greatest game ever. Our parents raised us to judge people based on their character, not their color or sexual orientation. Today, two of our guests, Toza and Andrija Matic, you met through this great game we love. And we're going to discuss how COVID-19 has changed what they're facing overseas. David, take the lead.
Yes,
Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you too for having us.
So, a little bit of background quickly. We got Toza Matic, who is the national team coach for India, which is the second biggest country in the world. And then we got Andrija Matic, who played for me when I was coaching at Kaiser University. He's from Germany. He started his career at American University and then transferred to Kaiser. So we're going to just, have a little bit of discussion. So quickly, since this whole thing with COVID-19 has started, I'll start with you, Andrija. How has the day-to-day life been in Serbia? Has it changed?
In Serbia, it has. So first of all, hi to everyone who's watching. So Serbia, it has been very interesting here. We had a curfew up to a couple of weeks ago till 5 p.m. We couldn't leave our home. Like we had to stay at home basically from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Like at night, you couldn't leave your home and you had to stay in. Also, like it was really weird. Like old people couldn't leave at all. They were like forbidden to leave. It was like very drastic measures. But now it's all good, and it seems like if you look outside, as if COVID-19 never happened.
So, has the stores? There's only been just over 100 deaths in Serbia. What was when COVID-19 hit? What was it like? Was there mass hysteria? Were people panicking? Was daily life changed a lot?
It was really funny because we had some people, some doctors and stuff held a press conference, like an emergency press conference, and some people went out and said it's the funniest virus we've ever faced and stuff like that. And it hit them hard at one point, at a point where we had our president come out and say, okay, we're doing this curfew thing now, and put up really, really one of the most probably drastic measures in the world where you couldn't leave your home. I mean, we were not allowed to leave after 5 p.m. We had like 4 days in a row where we couldn't leave our home at all.
So now, what is it like today? Can you guys go out? Are things starting to get?
Everything's back to normal. Like really, like buses are full. You have full buses. I mean, there are barely any new incidents of the virus.
Are people wearing masks?
Some are, not too many though.
So Toza, can you explain to us what it's like day to day right now in India? Because I had read that there maybe a little more recently there's been a surge in cases for COVID there.
Okay, in India is maybe a little bit late. Everything started. Maybe because I follow what's happened in Serbia. That is in India. They happen maybe week ago after Serbia. I remember I keep the player. We had a youth camp that is under 16 national team, and that's I think is the March 17, and I decided that keep the player as long as I can because nothing show up that in India will some big happen because not too much cases. We are full of some small European country as is Serbia that is actually that's happened every day that is around 10, 20, 30 After 7 days, first person died, and then coming very slowly. And government immediately after the 3 day, after 17 of the match, that immediately after 3 days they are announced curfew, but announced very hard curfew that not allowed. They suspended everything. Transportation is suspended. That is really surprisingly that happened, and people start to move all around India, but. When transportation is stopped, people start to walk because some migrants were working in a one part of the country. They have to going about 500, 600, 700 miles, and then a lot of people that just walking all around highways and want to going back to home. That was a very very difficult beginning, and then. Next 6 weeks after that, that is curfew continue. I know that is only with a special occasion you can drive the car. You have to have a special license that you can going out and drive the car. But all the time in my city, I'm Bangalore. The Bangalore is south, middle of the south of the India, and then in my city, situation was not a critical. More critical situation happened in the north part. That is Delhi, that is Mumbai, that happened. That is this north part where actually all cases start, and then now we have a very difficult situation. 2 days ago, India was a country with the most of the cases all around, and till now India has 4,500 dead people, and then over 100,000 that is corona infected people. But
So-
sanctions start to come down in this moment. Last week that's allowed that we only have a curfew from 7 till 7 at night, from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. And after that, there are continue curfews from 7 p.m. to the 7 in the morning. But next week, they because country is so big and in an area where is not so difficult, that is a lot of things is start to be open. Domestic air flights, they are start to fly. Transportation, that more and more they are open, and I think after 1 week or 2 weeks, situation will be completely suspended. Everybody will care, but situation will be, I think, pretty better.
When do you think basketball will start coaching again? Have they suggested when you guys can get back into practice?
That is, government also announced something that we can. Last week they told that in a small groups that they are told that is groups around 3, 4, 5 people can start all time. We have a conference call with all people, and then they working home. My problem, main problem that people have to stay in a good fitness, and when you are stay home, what you can do a little bit on the body, and then you can do some ball handling drills. But last week government allowed, but not everywhere, and then till now not too much open court. They are open for a player.
Interesting. So quickly, so you go through your resume, Toza, and throughout the years you've coached at various different levels with many different players. So first question I would really have outside now of this COVID talk would be, you've coached many different NBA players. Which player, when you were just coaching them, did you realize right away, like, this guy was just on another level, like in Europe, just you could see right then and there, this guy is special. He's an NBA player, or just a special pro in the European level?
Okay, that is 2008. I coach in Lebanon, and then in this time, first time I met Samaki Walker. Samaki Walker early came to the Middle East. I don't know reason why he came to the Middle East, and I had him in a team, and I learned a lot of him. That is first of all, that is 2008, and in Europe we are still on the static stretching. And then he told me, "Okay, coach, maybe that is good for you, but that is not good for me." And then from every player you can learn. That is something happened. Before I had a Peja Stojkovic, that is Željko Rebrača. I talking about Serbian player, but I had the opportunity to also to coach Nowitzki. When I went to the Germany, we played one very interesting game. That is, I went to Germany in '97, second time, and then they organized Nike organized NBA hoops in this time, and they are very big stars. They're Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen coming. That is. O'Neal, there was a beginner, that is Niels Baker, that I cannot remember. But outside Jordan, most top NBA player came. That was a tour before the season starts. That is around October, mid-October, and that was a 2 game, one in Berlin and one in Dortmund, and I coached team in Dortmund, and Nowitzki play in this game. And then after this game, they are very interesting. Charbalski came to him and then asked him, "Kid, do you want to go in my school? I give you my truck." And that was very interesting for us about Nowitzki. But Nowitzki have to speed it up with army service, because in Germany you can do military service, or you can go 3 months, and after that you are free. And then he really hurry up, and then after game he didn't attempt this dinner, and then they are looking where is Nowitzki, but he left. And that is in this game he played very good. He scored a lot of points. He dunked over the Charles Barkley, and that was, I think, the beginning about Nowitzki. But as I say, one of the most important player, what I have a personal connection with him, is Marcin Gortat, who finished with the Clippers. And then Andrija also know, when we are living in Germany, I brought him from Poland, because I coach in Poland too. And then friend of mine told that have some very, very talented player. And then this after that was a very great story. And then I also, when Andrija play on the American University, I visit Marcin in a DC, and then we are still very good friends, and then time to time we are speaking. That is very interesting. In Iran, I had Hamid Haddadi, Peja Stojkovic on the beginning of the career with me. That is Željko Rebrača, also one of the player in a junior national team of the Serbia. I had Radmanovic. Yeah, I also in a junior, and after that in 2002 when we play in Indianapolis on the World Championship, Jaric was with the team again. That Divac I had in a team this time, but I didn't. I was around the team when he played for a junior national team. But that is a lot of prospects. What play in NBA, a lot of good national player that I coach. I'm very lucky in the career that I have a lot of good player.
Andrija, obviously, over the last 6 weeks, the ESPN released a documentary on Michael Jordan. Did you get an opportunity to watch it?
I did. I actually did. I'm still trying to get my dad to watch it. It's but it's not easy. Like, he's not a Netflix watcher, so we have it all around the world. We actually have it on Netflix. He doesn't watch Netflix that much, so it's hard to get him to watch it. He would, otherwise I believe he would watch it. So yeah, I watched it.
What'd you think of it? Obviously, Jordan was before your time. When I was growing up, he was, everything that they described him as. He was a killer.
I mean, it was so amazing to watch this documentary because, like, first of all, you get the sense of being there. Like, I don't know, they kind of made it really good where you got the sense of being there.
You can hear the music.
Yeah, I mean, like, I watched Space Jam. I know who Michael Jordan is. Like, we all heard about Michael Jordan growing up, but then just seeing what he had to go through to win this one last championship, just amazing.
That's phenomenal.
So, so in the documentary, so Toza hasn't watched it. Andre, you have. David Stern is quoted as saying in the 1990s, basketball was only in 50 different countries, or not basketball, but the NBA was only in 50 different countries. Now you see the game is in over 200 countries over the last, so that's 150 countries gross over the last 30 years. What is the impact of Michael Jordan in Europe and over worldwide?
In the world.
Over the whole world. Like, what impact has he had?
I can say, watch. Andrija told me about Netflix to watch, but here in India, I didn't have a time actually to say. But I can say that is at the end, I was a big fan of the Michael Jordan. But from a beginning, we are grow up in a Europe, and we had a wall before 90s when wall is not broken. Basketball was almost in a western part of the Europe that we play. Actually, my country, ex-Yugoslavia, we are not typical Eastern European country. We are more something in between, but our influence was a more Western Europe. And then in Western Europe, that was a big influence about NBA before. And then I was a fan of the Larry Bird, like a lot of European, because that is too much physicality in Michael Jordan game. And then we are more like a skill player. And then that is one of the reasons why we are make more important some other player, but especially Larry Bird, that was our famous player. But you are right about what you are saying. After 90s, when basketball started to going everywhere, also when we have an influence that basketball come in Asia now in the last 20 years, that is economically unbelievable improve, and that is also connection between the China and the USA in a whole period of the time. They are bringing a basketball, that basketball start to be second the biggest sport in the world. That we can say after the soccer, basketball take this position, and Michael Jordan is unbelievably important. I will not say only Michael Jordan, that is the NBA, because the NBA spread the game everywhere. Before we didn't, we maybe watch one game a week, but when television and globalization start to going everywhere, that is very important for a basketball game. But Nike, together with Michael Jordan, that is, and together with the NBA, that make a big influence on the game.
Andrija, when you came to America, what was your first experience like playing at a college? And how was it different from playing overseas in Europe where you grew up?
All right, before I get there, I have to say when I got to America, there were two times, like the first time I came to America, I went to play AAU actually when I was 14. I went to play AAU and it was just overwhelming. The physicality was just overwhelming. Like, not really the physicality, but the athleticism. Because we play physical in Europe. We just don't play as athletic.
Okay.
And probably even more physical than in the US. Like, if you play with pros, man, those guys hit you. I played against Boba Marjanovic. I played against him with the national team. I was in the B national team. And man, that guy would just like grab me, turn me, and just elbow me the whole game. And I never played against like guys that are that physical. Like, it's just overwhelming. But when I got to the US, it was just the raw speed of the game and just the athleticism. Everybody could dunk. Everybody could, like, you don't have that here. Like, when you're talking about high school.
Sure.
AAU, So it was like I'm not the most athletic guy, and I had to adjust. And it were tough beginning, especially like I went to prep school when I was like what 18, 19, and I was not very good in the beginning, and I worked my way up slowly, you know, and it took me some time. It definitely did.
Who did you model your game after?
Model my game after. That's a really good question. I don't know. Kind of never thought about that. I really, as a kid growing up, like as a tall guy, you always admire the little guys, but I learned like throughout time that you're a big man and you got to play big. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
Tell-
maybe the best comparison to me is like poor man's Al Horford.
Okay.
Very good comparison, actually.
Toza, Rick Pitino coached over in Greece for 3 years and now came back to America. He's going to coach at Iona this year. He raved about how great, what he learned from the European Basketball League. How different is basketball played in Europe compared to how it is, and around the world compared to how it's played in America?
You know, is all the time we play good basketball in Europe, all the time, because as I told you that we are follow what's happen in a college basketball more because different of the rules, because NBA they have a 24-second clock, and then that is 24-second coming of the Sydney Olympic, that is 2000. That was a different game from us. But when NBA start to looking about Europe and then start to bring a player, that is this Sabonis, Divac generation, Dražen Petrovic, when they went to the United States, that was a very important moment, not only for a European basketball, but that was also important moment for United States too, because they are start to trust. Main problem, as I see, that is that, for example, college basketball not trust international basketball. And NBA as one global sport, when want to spread all over, and lot of top level college player would finish or play NBA and back to the Europe. They are help us that we are develop game, because a little bit different rules, and then that we have a more tactical, and then more very much professional. We are playing from the 70s. We play very much professional basketball in Europe. Our season is 8-9 months. What is the different college basketball that have actually January, February, and then team what is qualified in March and is over. Coach don't have an opportunity to develop the player, but we have a very much longer season than what is the season in the US. That is, NBA is different. NBA, we follow this season too, and we play now around 100 games. And these 100 games from 80 till in the last 15, 20 years, Europe plays so much game, different competition, national competition, international competition, and game is so much developed. But our problem now is that young talents very early leaving Europe, and they are going to the NBA. And then we are stay with a not top level talents, but still game is good and game is too much improved. Maybe this physical ability what European player don't have like in NBA, but that is compensate with the coaching and then with the skills what player try to do. But game is global now. Game is everywhere same now. Maybe last from 2006 when game is a change in US, where start to shooting start to be much better, players start to be much skilled and much more faster. That is a change game. There are no center. That now every team they have a 3-point shooter. That is something where we're going everywhere and change a game. And then Europe is full of NBA very much. And then college, not anymore. I think college is very far away from a top level basketball. They have to change something, maybe rules. They have to do something, but we are focused on the NBA, what's happening in NBA, and then that is maybe 5-6 years ago that influence of the European basketball very big in NBA, but now NBA I think the front, and again Europe have to change something to catch this level of the game what dictate NBA.
So Toza, there's a little bit of a different subject. You've become, I would say, one of the top coaches in all of Asia. Looking at your track record and winning the Asian games and things like that, you have coached in some countries that here in the U.S. would be considered, terrorist states, such as Iran, Libya, Lebanon, and Syria. Can you talk about just your times in those countries and maybe just what's like day to day in what we would consider a war state, how they treated you and things like that?
Okay, I will tell. That is 2008. I went to the Lebanon. That is the FIBA International Basketball Association sent me to make some clinic over there. And some agent came and asked me, maybe coach, you want to come and coach team over there? And I didn't know anything about Asian basketball, and that is the first step. But what's very interesting, this day that is happened, that is Hezbollah, what is a very strong terrorist, what you are saying, terrorist organization in Lebanon, that is pick up maybe 7 days before they pick up the whole Lebanon. And then I came, and that was very, very difficult situation, and I really scared. I didn't want to go out. I stay in a hotel, but people brought me outside, and then I understand that is something is information what you have on the television, and from the other side you have information what create your personal opinion when you are somewhere. That is something what till today they are my guideline for everywhere where I going. You have some information that is, for example, I went in Libya after the attack on the American embassy, and they are told me you have to come in Benghazi. I said, people, you are crazy. That is a war. No, say we made a deal, and then you can come. And then I said, no, I will come in a tournament in Lebanon. But they are offering me very good contract. That happened after the Iran, and then I said, okay, and I scared beginning, but after that, what I told you, I understand. Media creates something, and then reality is something different. I remember when I coach Iran, we play on the World Championship, and then that was a big crisis between United States and Iran. They are talking about this nuclear war, and then Iran maybe not had atomic weapon, but I think on the picture there say Krzyzewski on one side, and then put myself on another side, and they are put like enemies. But it was a great experience when we play a game. Everything was good, but you have to know, in every country when I working, what we are saying, terrorist country, I had American player. In Syria, when I coach in a Syria national team, we nationalize American player. We are looking for American player. We are nationalize him, and he play for us. He play one Windows when we play qualification for a world championship. We had American player in the team, and government give a passport to him during the war. Same situation in Iran. A lot of American players live very good over there. Lebanon, that not to talk, that is the Western mentality. That is any team we cannot live without American player. A lot of NBA, ex-NBA player, and then player in between. That is what finish college they are playing in this country, and then One way I see that is what media creates, another is a situation what you have. Maybe I can tell that is this Corona is the most difficult place where I coach till now. Anywhere, 2 months, that is no contact with the people, just going out, walk, that is.
Funny, just one thing, funny when he talked about the NBA players, like current NBA players playing in Lebanon. He actually, not on his team, but on another team, he told me about how, what's his name? Hassan Whiteside played in Lebanon and actually got cut. He got cut in Lebanon. Yeah.
Coach, take
He got cut in Lebanon before going to the G League and erupting there and then going to the NBA. He actually got cut, which is really interesting.
So, Andrija, I actually coached Hassan Whiteside in prep school. I was the year
Oh, wow,
after
really? Yeah, you can talk to him sometime about this. Time he got cut in Lebanon.
It was the year after I coached Coach Ulak. There's a little difference in terms of ability, you know? Hassan was actually he was actually 6'4" the summer before I got him, and when he came to prep school, he was at 6'11", and all he wanted to do was shoot threes. So his hand-eye coordination was ridiculous back then. Like, he was 6'11", and we're like, Hassan, get inside. He's like, no, all I want to do is shoot threes, and he was good at it because, you know, when you grow 7 inches, 8 inches in a summer, which is ridiculous. But it was funny that you say that. I find it ironic. I was just texting David. So when you were coaching over there and the American Embassy got taken over, there was a movie that they just did a couple years ago called 13 Hours, which talks about how the American Embassy was attacked in Lebanon. So Andrija, you might want to watch that. And Toza. But it literally didn't have anything to do with basketball. It just had everything to do with the American Embassy being attacked over there, and it's just amazing how you coach through that. That's phenomenal.
It was really funny. We went to visit him a couple of times, and like the first time we actually were going to Lebanon, we were scared. Like, we were completely scared of going to this place, and he was telling us it's gonna be fine. And I ended up loving Lebanon. Like, Beirut is one of the most beautiful things in the world.
Really?
Yeah, it's beautiful there. It's beautiful. Like, you can go ski and then after that to the beach in the same day. Like, where can you do that in the world? Like, only one place.
Sounds like heaven. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Toza, where's your favorite place that you've ever coached? What place do you say, you know what, if I could coach here the rest of my life, I would go there?
Yeah, that is for all family. We all family spent a great time in Estonia. I coach in Estonia club. That was they gave me team what they had. We can say the team what will become the national team. Become national team because they have Mursev, he play NBA from Estonia. Estonia, very famous country when we are talking about Soviet Union. That is, you have this pre-Baltic country, but most of the time that Estonia give a point guard. That history about European basketball starts on the pre-Baltic because these people from this area that they went to the United States very early, and then before Second World War, they are come back and then bring a basketball in this area. That is the YMCA organization. That is back from a YMCA organization, and then first champion of the Europe that was Latvia. But that is all three pre-Baltic countries: Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And then that is, I spent 2 years, and then I really enjoy this period of the time. I think Andrija started playing basketball. He had a very good coach over there. Coach of him that was Tit Sok, point guard from Seoul, not Seoul. I'm sorry. Yeah, Seoul Olympics when when the Russian team beat the USA team. And Toza, that was the point guard. And he has an academy over there, and then he coached kid. And then he's one of the first coaches what found talent in Andrija.
It was kind of like the equivalent of like John Stockton having being a high school coach, like not even like I don't know, like being like having like his thing where like I don't know 10-year-olds. He coaches John Stockton coaching 10-year-olds, something like that. I mean, it's just ridiculous if you think about it. But that's how it was in Estonia. He just loved working with kids, you know. This guy.
That's incredible. That's why coaches, I think, get involved in it. That's why I stay involved with it. I never played the level that your dad obviously coaches at, and you played on, and even Coach Ulak played at. But I love the game and very passionate about it. Like I said, it's amazing that we can have these conversations around the world in the midst of a pandemic. That's what's so special about this in the game.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. This is just, yeah, it's just awesome.
So the last topic we're going to get to here, and really mostly for Toza, it's I want to talk a little bit about the project of India basketball. And when you think about the second largest country in the world, you're the national team coach, and to me, it almost feels like you're trying to mold something the way China, the biggest country in the world right now, is basketball crazy, and it seems like a very untapped market for basketball in the world, considering you've got about 5 times the amount of people there, and the game just has the ability to potentially boom in the next 10 to 20 years there. Just talk to us about your current national team. Is there a domestic pro league and the realistic growth of the program?
Okay. First, to tell about China. I was a candidate 2012. I was a candidate to be head coach of the China national team, and that is not happened. That is something happened. But I want to compare about all Asia. What is the problem in India? India improved in the last, we can say, in the 15 years, improve economy so much. Basketball, they play in India. In missioners, they brought basketball India, but that is for example, that is 40% of the school in India is controlled by Christian school, 40%, and that is mostly private school. They have a public school, but in all of these schools, basketball is an important part of the game. What is the problem in India in the past, but maybe we will try to change, because India is 1.4 billion people. And then middle class is very big in India. That is over 300, 400 million, they are middle class. And then basketball is selected actually from a middle class. Low class, that is play cricket. Cricket is most famous sport in India. And last 15 years is period when India too much developed. They are also basketball developed. FIBA as some international basketball federation, they are invest a lot of in India. They are brought a lot of foreign coaches for a national team, but country is so big and it's very difficult. You cannot imagine that India don't have any league. They have a local, domestic, some tournaments. What's happened in 1 or 2 weeks, and that's over. They are play India all around tournament. Player when finish high school or we finish college, they are got a job in a big companies of the India. Somebody get a job in the army, somebody get a job in the railway. For example, railway all around India, they have in a woman category, they have more than 20 teams. In a man category, they have around 15, 16 teams. Only railway. Railway is the biggest biggest company in India. The same story we can talking about army. Army have 5, 6, 7 man teams. That we can talking about the banks. Then when you are finished career, that is a little bit Russian system, because India follow lot of Russian system, and when big company, they are take a player as employer, and then player half of the day they are working as employer, and then half of the day they let them that they can practice. Coaching also is a big problem, because they are not follow. They don't have a know-how what's happened when you are not playing league, when you are playing tournament. Only national team is something, but also lot of Indian player before. Not too many players that went to the United States. There was a couple project that we have one player. He's drafted by Dallas Mavericks. He's Tatam Singh. Another player. They are playing in a G League, and they have a lot of India player with the Indian roots. What is now some agent they are calling me that player who finished from Stanford University. He's a poor Indian. Father and mother, they are Indian, but India not accept double nationality. You can have only one nationality, that is Indian. Maybe that is the conflict what they have with the Pakistan, and they don't want to allow that somebody from a United States they can participate in any national team. Only if you have an poor Indian passport, you can play for a national team. But NBA Academy. 7 years ago, NBA established academy in India. That is one good coach is the coach of academy. That is a very, very big project. That is, I think, budget of the NBA India is over $25 million. That have made a junior NBA. What is some program? What is spread all around India? They make clinics and try to organize basketball to some level. Also, Basketball Federation India would control basketball with all. Don't take me seriously, but I can say that is 38 states in India. That is the union of 38 states. But don't take me seriously about. I don't know exactly number. Basketball is on the good level in the 15 states, especially in the north. You have a good size. Actually, in every generation, you can find a seven footer. That is, for a moment, we have a very good talent. Both of them. One is a Finnish global MBA school in Australia. After in a school in Delhi, they have sent him. Maybe he will going to the G League. That is, his name is Principal Singh. Is a 6'10", 6'11", very athletic, and can play multiple position, 3, 4, 5. He is a prospect. We have a kid from 70 years old. He is 6'11", very talented. What my son said about Jokic is this profile. He is 70 years old. And what is the advantage about Indian kids? They speak perfectly English, and that is easier. But problem is that is different about the school system. All Indian kids, the 20, they are finished university, and that is a big problem, because with the 17, they are ready. That can going to the 17, they are ready to go to the college, and that is too early, because 18, 19 player they are ready, and that is a little bit problem. But program of the national team now is not bad. Government also want to help that organize academy. Government planning to organize 6 academy all around to be boarding school, select the player and keep all around here for 3-4 years in some place with a full facility. That is a great project. Still Corona a little bit stopped in other sport. They have this project, but India improving. But you have to know, India is the 5th economy in the world, and every day they are improved. They have an unbelievable IT sector. That is also medicine is on the high level. That is school system is very good. India is the potential. Also for a sport, they are educated and they can make a big improvement.
That was great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Josh, I think we're going to wrap it up here.
Guys, I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Take it away, David.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So everybody who happens to listen to this, please like, subscribe, comment on anything below, share links, download the links. It helps us grow our podcast. Last few, we've had some encouraging numbers. So we just hope to keep on growing this thing. And we really appreciate Toza and Andrija for coming on today. And until next time, this is a Changing of the Times.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.